Honestly, on this episode of Shangri-La Frontier, I will have to say this is probably the first episode that was slower, like, than most of the other ones. I know a few people thought last week was slow, but personally, I thought last week was pretty informational as far as going on what is happening with the other friends, characters, and such. So it didn't really seem that bad to me. This one, I may say it might have been slower, but it wasn't really like, oh my God, this is a snail's pace is an issue. No, I don't think it was an issue at all. I'm just comparing it to what we've had for most of the season, especially with the Lycagon fights and such. So, you know, when you compare it to that, then yeah, it's going to be a little slower. Not every episode is going to be like that. But there's a lot of stuff that was pretty much leaving question marks here. So we'll kind of go into them each and every one, but let's start off with this. Of course, Sunraku's friend, the pro gamer, needs some allies. His teammates have issues in real life, so they can't even go to the video game competition, which I will have to say, like, in order to excuse yourself from going to the video game competition like this, as esteemed as it looks like it's going to be, I would have to be dead. I mean, this, like, I understand, you know, you may have a death in the family, you may have some other stuff that's happening, but this is like the culmination of your life's goal. I'd be like, yeah, I need to get that medal. I need to get that trophy. I need to stand on that stage. So you're gonna have to pry it from my dead cold hands in order for me to miss out on this. Pro gamer's in trouble. And who does he turn to? His teammates in Shangri-La Frontier. I understood that he would ask them because he's looking for skilled people in a quick time frame. So who does he going to turn to? So, you know, Pentagon and Sunraku. Now, Pentagon probably could go, but Sunraku is trying to explore more unique stuff in Shangri-La Frontier, especially in order to get another unique boss defeated. So trying the chance to get rid of a Colossi, I don't know if he's going to be able to make it. Now, granted, depends on the time frame that all this has to be displayed, because you got to remember, all of this in the last several episodes have been transpiring within days, like within a day, almost 2 days. You had to meet up with Reishi, then from Reishi, they had to go into the Barrens area, and the Barrens area, all that with Lycagon was in one evening, and then the next day, here he is trying to meet up with Mold and Rust. So even though it may seem like a lot of time has passed, it's not really. It's like 1 day has passed with all of this that's happened. So in order for him to help out, it depends on like how much longer do they have. Like, is it a week later, a few weeks later? Because I have no idea how long it's going to take for Sunraku to deal with this whole new Colossi. Remember, this Colossi is supposed to be the one that the developers have figured would be the very first Colossi that people will defeat. You know, does that mean it's going to be a lot easier? I don't think so. Now, the question is, will it be easier compared to the other Colossi he has taken out? Weatherman and Lycagon Shadow. So we shall see if it's going to be easier or if it's going to be just convoluted. I don't know what the case is. I don't know if Sunraku is going to be able to make it to this competition. I will have to say the resourcefulness of Sunraku is actually pretty smart. I mean, the fact that he did the next best thing to test out the limits of his new mark, and most of this episode was really us learning more and more of the new upgrade to his mark, the Lycagon's mark. Now, granted, he technically can wear equipment now, not for very long. So I'm glad that he actually thought of this, because I thought of this about 2 weeks ago when he got the upgraded mark, and it was like, okay, so he can wear stuff, but it just won't last long. So now he actually is doing the next best thing, testing how long he can wear stuff. Now, it seems right now it's 3 minutes time frame. I'm surprised that it's not a fluctuating thing, like depending on what he's wearing, the stronger the armor, the quicker it dies, the weaker the armor, the longer he's able to have it. Right now, it looks like it's 3 minutes total. So yeah, the last thing he needs is to wear something of the robot armor, and it gets destroyed in 3 minutes. So I'm glad he actually did test it. Seems that Bilalik is not very happy about the destruction of the armor that she keeps making. He had to test it. He had to test whether good armor or bad armor. Oh well, it is what it is. Now, it doesn't surprise me, and of course, whenever Sunraku did meet up with Rust and Mold, they're sitting there like, why are you dressed like that? Why do you have a bird head and have no clothes on? Because you got to remember, they've never met before. And the last thing they know is from Nephilium Hollow, he has a robot head and, you know, he's fully armored out, clothed out and everything. So they know him from his avatar in one game. You know, you see an avatar, you know, for one game, he's a robot looking guy. And the next game, he's half naked with a bird head. There is some drastic changes there. I mean, to be honest, Mold kind of similar to me. You know, he still has stuff that covers most of his body. And, you know, Rust is a hothead, and she's been a hothead, and, you know, she technically has almost like the same hairstyle and everything, only if anything, it's just like her avatar's colors are changed compared to Nephilium Hollow. So I could see the similarities in their characters. Sunraku's characters, like, they're like, this is a drastic change. It is what it is. So this moment was actually pretty funny whenever they meet for the first time and they're like, why do you look like that? And of course he's like, yeah, we'll save that for later. So like I was saying before, this is like the first time that Sunraku's actually rocking his new mark, thanks to Lycagon. And before it seemed like the mark would affect, you know, creatures and stuff. Now it's definitely affecting NPCs more so and how they respond to him. So yes, the mark has definitely gotten stronger. And I love this frame here that they have of him, just like, as they said, his vorpal soul is leaking out. He's just like, yeah, sure. No, but seriously, Sunraku, I think, is honestly becoming a better and better character, and a lot of things that is happening with him. I love the fact that he did kind of a backstory to explain his feelings towards his rambunctious brat stereotype, that due to him playing all these other failed games, that having annoying characters, to have another annoying character is like, oh, it's no big deal. To me, it's like an old grandma that has dealt with kids of all different types for a long period of time. So he sees another kid that's just like being a brat and rambunctious. He's like, oh, that's cute. Oh, that's sweet. Oh, and then he's like, you gotta do a lot more than that to bother me. Hey, you know what? You never know what skills you can learn from playing different games. And it seems how they live more futuristic and interactive. Yeah, I'm sure it's going to be a lot more tolerances of different things happening to you. Overall, like I said, if you look at it, there's really not a lot that kind of took place in this episode, just a few things here and there. I am actually amazed that Reishi and, of course, Ninja Girl is actually there. I remember, of course, they're on the main theme song and they're on the ending song, so I knew at some point they would be involved. But I'm like, how in the world, one, did they know Sunraku is going to be where he's at? And two, like, barrels? They're just going to be in barrels and they're just right there? I can only speculate. And, you know, maybe it has to do with the whole bunnies knowing another bunny, you know, where they're going to be at, or they just tracked him down, or maybe she put a talisman on him so she knows where he's at all the times. I for sure thought Reishi was going to ask her where and how to get into Rabazua, because Sunraku hasn't really had that discussion with her to like keep your mouth shut. So I was like, okay, maybe she'll show up in Rabazua, you know. No, they just show up in the middle, getting a delivery from the boat they're about to go on, and then they're right there. So I'm actually confused by this, and how, you know, it might just be some simple answer. You know, don't spoil it for me, but I'm actually surprised that this transpired in the way that it happened. And of course, this had to just be the cliffhanger for the next week's episode, because I was expecting them to come out with the answer like very quickly and to be like, oh, okay. But then the episode ends. And I'm like, man, really? This is your cliffhanger? It is what it is, but let me know what you guys think. You know, how did you feel about the episode itself? I think it's still really good, so do not despair that this is like, oh, the anime is going downhill now. Nah, there's no way that the way that this has been going, that all of a sudden it's just going to go downhill and just be trash. No, I highly doubt that, but I do definitely want to hear what you guys' points of view are. Anyway, Don't forget to like the video. Don't forget to subscribe. You know, I appreciate all the views that the video's been getting, but you guys gotta press the subscribe button because I love to see you guys around more often. And I appreciate all the new people that have been showing up. You guys are great, and I do read every single comment. So I love having you guys around. In the meantime, please be safe. Please take care. And Lord willing, I will see you guys next time. Have a good one. Bye for now.
This ain't what you want, bitch, I'm a fucking phenomenon.